So hush, please. We're going to be going over this before you take the quiz. You should be looking at page 13. Page 13. Number 1, what is the total number of moles of Fe2O3 needed to produce 4 moles of Fe? So if you have moles and moles, how many fractions is moles and moles? 2. 1, 2. And always, whatever they gave you goes on top of the first one. And this time they gave us 4 moles of Fe. So I'm going to write 4 mole Fe. And always the bottom of the first fraction is what? Just a 1. Okay, now wherever chemical that they're starting me with, that's where my bridge is going to start. And if I read the problem, the second chemical they mentioned, whatever the other chemical is where I'm going to point. So what is the other chemical that I'm pointing at in this problem? The Fe2O3. So my bridge is going to go like that. Ladies, do you have a question? Okay. I was concerned since you were talking that you might have a question. Oliver not helping. Moles of iron on top. Remember, what goes up must come down. So I'm going to put moles of Fe on the bottom also. That uses moles twice with that chemical. That means I need moles 2 more times, but with a new chemical. And once you have moles on the bottom, you're ready to use the bridge. So how many moles of Fe do I pay to get on the bridge? 4. And then if I cross the bridge, follow the bridge.
2
Thank you, Oliver. 2 what of Fe2O3? Moles. Make sure you put the word moles in there. Okay? Then you get to do the math. 4 times 2 divided by 4 should get you 2 moles of Fe2O3. Do you have any questions on number 1? No? Max, Noah, how are y'all doing?
We're doing great.
Cool, because it looked like you were like playing with the sink or something instead of writing, so.
Oh, no, I was just touching it.
Uh-huh.
I like to touch.
Why don't you touch your pencil and paper instead?
All right, here, touch it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 has moles, and it has grams. So how many fractions is that one going to use? 3. So draw your 3 fractions. Okay, and again, whatever number they gave you should go on top of your first one. So that's 15 grams, and this time it's Fe2O3 that we're starting with. And always the first fraction should have what under it? Just a 1. Gentlemen.
What are you doing?
Okay, and whatever this chemical is, that's where my bridge is going to start for this problem. So I'm going to draw a dot where my bridge is going to start for this problem. The bridge we drew earlier was for number 1. The bridge we're about to draw is for number 2. What other chemical do they want in this problem? CO2. So this time my bridge is going to go point at CO2. Here's my bridge for number 2. Bless you. What goes up must come down, so grams of Fe2O3 are going to come on the bottom. And that uses grams twice, so I'm done with grams, which means I have to switch to what?
Moles.
Moles.
There'd be 1 mole of Fe2O3.
Yes, Davenport is correct. When grams and moles are in the same fraction, the chemical has to be what?
It has to be the same.
Chemical has to be the same, so if it was Fe2O3 on bottom, it should be Fe2O3 on top. That's when it's grams and moles. The chemical has to be the same. And when grams and moles are in the same fraction, the number of moles is 1. Where do your grams come from? Where do your grams come from? Leah, where do your grams come from?
I don't know.
Someone just whispered it really loud.
Yeah, it's whispered really loud. Come on.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's the periodic table.
They come from what? No, from
Yes,
the periodic table.
The grams come from the periodic table. Hush. Ladies and gentlemen, hush. Leah could not even hear someone giving her the answer because you were talking so loud. So, what you do is you go check your periodic table. Iron is 55.85, and it's times 2 because it was Fe2. Oxygen is 16, and it's times 3 because it was O3. And when you add those up, we've been doing it for months. Yeah. When you add those up, you get 159.7, so that's going to be the number of grams that you write in here. Noah, do you have a question?
No, it is not.
Does Max have a question?
I'm just questioning.
Why does it feel good when someone stretches my head? It smells, it's just like getting petted. It's pretty nice.
I'm happy for you. Can we maybe focus on this, though?
Yeah.
Okay, to fill out the third fraction, what goes up must come down. And now that I have moles on the bottom, now I'm ready to follow my new bridge. So my new bridge starts with 2 Fe2O3, so this 2 is going to come down here. And if I follow my new bridge, it points at 3 CO2. 3 what of CO2? What is it pointing at? 3 moles. Those coefficients are always numbers of moles. From there, stick it in your calculator. So what?
The answer would be the number and then mole CO2, right?
Yes. Whatever units are on top of your last fraction should be the units of your answer. Really? Now, if you notice, we have used grams twice and moles 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every problem should have moles 4 times. It should be twice with one chemical and twice with a different chemical. Okay. Billy, would you come back to your seat, please? Thank you.
How many names do you have?
I don't know.
3. All right.
Junior. 4.
Number 3 has moles and moles. How many fractions is that going to take? 2. Remember, whatever they gave you goes on top of the first one. Over 1. Wait, what? Oh, hey.
So they said they should be sending you an email because first we can.
I might have the email already. Let me look. Yeah, I just got it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. Okay, 2 fractions. Again, what goes up must come down. Billy, do you have a question? Would you close the door for me, please, Billy? Thank you. And this chemical we're starting with is where our bridge is going to start for this problem. And in this problem, the other chemical is Fe, so that's where my bridge is going to point. Hurry. Uh-huh. Yes, both of you. Go quick. Go fast, Davenport. We're starting the quiz soon. Okay, when you have moles on the bottom, you're ready to take your number out of the arrow. So that's 3 carbon. And the arrow points at 4 iron. Remember, that's 4 moles of iron. And when you do the math there, I think you get 6.67. Is that right? Yeah? Thank you, Dylan. Excuse me. It's just a thing that happens to pregnant ladies. All right, for the last one, it's got grams and moles. I'm going to speed through it because we got to start our quiz soon. This last one has grams and moles, so we're going to take 3 fractions. It says 4.5 moles of carbon, so that's what's going to go on top of our first fraction over 1. And that is also where our bridge is going to start. The other chemical they're asking about is CO2, so our bridge is going to go from carbon to CO2. What goes up must come down, so I'm going to have moles of carbon on the bottom. And once you have moles on the bottom, you are ready to use your bridge. So from the bridge, how many moles of carbon do I pay to get on this mole bridge? 3. So I'm going to put that same 3 down here. And if I cross the bridge, follow it across, it's pointing at 3 moles of CO2, so that's what I'm going to write on top. Remember, what goes up must come down. So if there were moles of CO2 on top, I'm going to put moles of CO2 on the bottom. And that uses moles 4 times. I can't use moles anymore. What do I switch to? Switch to grams. We have some rules about when grams and moles are in the same fraction. First of all, when grams and moles are in the same fraction, the chemicals are what?
Wait, what did you ask?
When grams and moles are in the same fraction, the chemicals are
CO2.
the same, which is CO2 in this case. And when grams and moles are in the same fraction, the number of moles is 1. And where do grams come from? The periodic table. So you would add up from your periodic table CO2. So there's 1 carbon and 2 oxygens. And those add up to 44.01. And if you stick that in your calculator and round it to 2 decimal places, this is the answer you should get. Yes. Yes, ask me a question.
Why do you have a picture of John Green's face on your door?
Somebody put it there and I liked it, so I left it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what it means?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Well, that's probably a question for after you pass your quiz.
Green pizza?
All right, so at this time, it is time for your quiz.